École Sainte-Marie is a Catholic-run day school run by the St. Boniface Diocese. And I started here in grade 1 in 1964. And I myself am also a survivor of a day school sexual abuse that occurred here at the age of 7 years old. That was back in 1965.
A modest church and childcare center are tucked away in Winnipeg's Old St. Vital neighborhood. But for Andrew Carrier, it's a haunting reminder of the abuse he endured at the former École Sainte-Marie day school.
I had to confess my sins at the age of 7 years old, and the concept of a sin was beyond my knowledge at that time. And during that process where I had to repent and confess my sins, he took me aside and in where the changing room were for the priests in the back of the church, and proceeded to sexually abuse me. That year I failed grade 2 because of lack of being able to concentrate, and also because of the fear that I would be victimized again by the priests.
Carrier is among the estimated thousands of Métis who attended federal and church-run day schools in Canada. Despite being able to go home after school, their experiences often mirror those of residential school survivors. While many Métis attended residential schools, others were sent to day schools or provincial schools. Métis scholar Dr. Tricia Logan said the federal government created a classification system to determine where Métis children should be sent.
If they were living closer to a non-Indigenous community or living like a farming, like scriptland or farming life, then they would less likely be taken according to the written classifications. Or if they were living, quote, the Indian mode of life, they would be more likely to be taken.
As a child, Carrier lived around the corner from the school. He remembers coming home to tell his mother what the priests did.
I distinctly remember my mother reacting very angrily, and I thought she was angry at me. Actually, she hit me because I was distraught, and she slapped me and she said, "Je peux pas t'en parler," which means I don't want you to talk about this.
Today, as the Manitoba Métis Federation's Minister of Residential and Day Schools, sharing his experience and connecting with survivors is his mission. He says day school trauma impacts survivors to this day.
I've heard of attempted suicides or thoughts of suicides. I've heard a lot of depression. The trauma of surviving this type of abuse is with you for the rest of your life.
For survivors and their families, locating records can be exhausting. Logan says school administrators often manipulated records and left Métis off attendance lists, making some ineligible for settlement claims.
When Métis children came, or Métis survivors came to claim compensation, their attendance wasn't recorded, or wasn't recorded consistently or fairly. So the reflection of how Métis were treated inside the schools then rippled down to the records, the administration, and the legal cases.
In fact, Carrier says the only proof he has of attending École Sainte-Marie is his student ID card. That and his memories.
We have to listen to the truth before we can look at the healing process. And the truth is this, is that it happened under the watch of the Catholic Church. It happened under the watch of my parents. It happened under the watch of the community. But more importantly, where were our medical and our legal system protecting the families who did speak out at the time?
6 decades on at the site of École Sainte-Marie, Carrier holds a sash created in honor of Métis Residential School, Day School, and 60 Scoop survivors.
A black thread in here to recognize the hard time that we had to survive in order to be here today.
He says it's a reminder that their experiences must never be forgotten. Sierra Bettens, APTN National News, Winnipeg.